Good evening to you. It is Tuesday, August 12th at 10:15 p.m. A little bit of NightCap. Time to talk to you a little bit more about football and what I saw on the Big Ten Network this weekend. I'm sure you saw it, but I thought I'd react late because anybody can react early. But I'm coming at you with the slow-moving train that is summer news for Purdue sports. Before I dig too deep into my thoughts, what I saw, I want to thank our sponsors. Thanks to our friends at Home Field Apparel. Head over to Home Field Apparel. If you have not checked out the Platinum Packs for this year, for Purdue, I'm pretty sure they did a very intentional thing. It looks like, well, they talk about 1967, that great era of Purdue football. They talk about, if you look at one of the sweatshirts or T-shirts, I think it has a 1980s feel, another golden era of Purdue football. And of course, they talk about the Joe Tiller era in these throwback pieces of apparel. I would highly suggest you look at these Platinum Packs because they are pretty damn cool. Homefieldapparel.com. I do not think we have a code anymore. I don't think it works that way. I'm almost positive. If you want to try, you're welcome to Boiled25, but I don't think it works anymore. I got to talk to Connor, the owner, about that. But still, homefieldapparel.com, great stuff. And also, when you're on campus and you are hungry and you are thirsty and you might need somebody to talk to, you know what you do? You head towards the fire station. It's just a 5-minute walk from Victory. And then when you get to the fire station, turn left if you're coming from Mackey or Rossade. And you go in and you talk to the nicest people on campus. They're all meeting there at AJ's. Burgers, beef, beer, great staff. That's AJ's. EatAJ's.com. All seriousness. Just incredible people. All right, so if you got a chance to see it on Saturday, I think it aired in the afternoon, evening. Big Ten Network was on campus for the scrimmage, the Purdue football scrimmage. And there are a lot of things that stuck out to me. But one of the biggest ones, and the reason why I asked the question about small ball was because they're just the pall over the offense during that Big Ten Network broadcast was palpable to me. It's funny because I haven't felt that way when listening to the locals talk about this Purdue offense. Sure, there are some things that need to get done. But man, Big Ten Network was down on the offense. And it felt like they were very, very down on the overall situation. I thought that Revson, DiNardo, and Griffith, they made it sound like things are not only tough, but they're worse than tough in West Lafayette right now. To me, it felt like the defense is dialed in, getting ready, and the offense is nowhere near that. And so you had that, plus you had Sam King talking about on Twitter, talking about how much Purdue is working on special teams lately. He said he's never seen a Purdue coach and a Purdue staff focus on special teams that way. You also had some other things, if you're just reading tea leaves and putting things together, that made you feel like, well, maybe there's some reason to be concerned here on the offensive side. Of course, Ryan Brown, a lot of people, myself included, thought he probably has the inside track to be named the quarterback. He has not been officially named the starting quarterback yet. On top of that, during that Big Ten Network telecast, not sure if you noticed this, my son and I did, but when they were talking to the offense, about the offense, the highlights over the back showed Ryan Brown throwing 2 interceptions. I thought that was really weird, unusual editing, if nothing else. Not a big confidence builder. Who knows? Maybe this is a big Machiavellian plan by Coach Odom and company to have the opponents let down their guard. But it feels like there's a little more happening here. It feels to me like Coach Henson, who sounded great. It's the first long interview I've seen him involved in. He sounded great, looks the part. Odom looks great. The staff is serious. I keep saying that the team is serious. There's an understanding, it seems to me, that this team and these coaches understand what is at stake and how much there is to do, how much there is to get done. But at the same time, it was pretty negative. And the funny thing is, so if you're a guy that's into history, a girl that's into history, whatever, you can look back not very far and know that the Big Ten Network has been wrong before. Okay. For instance, if you remember when Jeff Brom became Purdue's coach, Big Ten Network in their camp visit said that Coach Brom had a rebuild ahead of him that was going to be difficult and it would take some time. It didn't take much time. Right away, Brom plugged some things in. Purdue looked very, very good right from the jump. I think it was the Ohio game, which was at the second game of that season, where I was like, okay, something's cooking here, right? So Big Ten Network was incorrect there. And I can remember another time in one of the camps, I believe it was last season, when Howard Griffith and DiNardo were absolutely gushing about Hudson Card and Ryan Walters and what was happening there at Purdue. So they've been wrong before. They've been wrong. But this time it felt like they were just trying to gloss over the fact that the offense looks out of sorts, does not look completed. They love Maccabee, no doubt about it. Everybody loves Maccabee, everything he stands for, everything he is on the field and off the field. But after that, it felt like there was a big drop-off. They didn't talk about the positives, which I see on this offensive line. One thing that Odom, I like what he said, is we don't have a lot of returning starters here at Purdue, but we have a lot of returning starters, period, in this roster that have started other places and have been impactful at other places. There's still some time left. There's still some time. But one thing that's really interesting is how this scrimmage, Purdue's been in full pads, I think, for 5 or 6 days, on and off. They've taken them off and put them back on. But this was a long scrimmage. This was a lot of reps getting in. Oda made sure everybody, I think, played. I think that was one of the things they said, okay, we're gonna see everybody in this scrimmage. So this is probably big about movers and shakers on who's gonna actually play. But I think there's reason to believe that Odom, Henson, and company are really trying to organize things in a way to minimize the discrepancies on the offensive side of the ball. I think the offensive line is going to be solid. I think Purdue's going to try to run the ball a lot. That's what it feels like to me. My concerns at the wide receiver position still exist. They have not been alleviated at all. Especially as some of the things I've seen. I haven't heard any reports out of camp other than Michael Jackson playing well. Some say he's bad, like in a good way. But that's it, right? Other than Michael Jackson, have you heard much? And if you have, tell me about it. Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the live feed, in the margin, wherever. The things that you've heard that have been really, really good, the wide receiver core and the tight end core, those are my two biggest concerns all over the field. I think the offensive line is going to be really, really solid. In fact, I think there are going to be two guys. I'm going to step out on a limb. My hot take today is I think there are going to be two guys from the offensive line that will be named on a Big Ten team, one or another. So on a first, second, third, or honorable mention. So I think that's a pretty good place to be. I have a lot of faith in this offensive line unit. I do think there's going to be, you're going to need to stay healthy, no doubt about it. But I think there's some real reasons to believe that unit's going to be really solid. Now, the guy throwing the ball, the guy calling signals, is it Singleton? Is it Brown? Is it someone else? I heard Meredith brought up today or yesterday in the media. I can't remember. But we don't know. We don't know unless something's happened since I last checked, which is very possible. I had a bunch of meetings this afternoon, so maybe I'm wrong. Could be I'm wrong. Right now, here's what we know. Camp is still going on. I think you've got, 9 days left of camp, and then classes start. So Purdue has time before the August 30th Ball State game. But this season is a pretty good ramp. It's a pretty good ramp, pretty good design to get your feet under you as an offensive unit, as a team. Ball State on August 30th. Of course, Southern Illinois on the 6th of September. USC on the 13th of September, and then Notre Dame on the 20th. So it ramps up quickly. But there's still reason to believe there's time for things to come together. But it sounds to me, if the Big Ten Network is at all is it all correct? There's reason to be concerned right now. A couple of you guys may disagree, may agree. That's about all I had tonight. It's going to be a true quick cast, nightcap, whatever you want to call it. But Ryan Lewis is here. He says hi. Chris Harder, my buddy, says hey. And Chris has had an interesting couple of days. I don't know if I can talk about what he has had, but pretty interesting couple of days. Chris, good to see you on here. Ted Berkey, good evening to you. Quinn says let's go. Marshall Briggs is here. He's the number 3 king. Says evening, Dad. Same to you, sir. Ted Berkey, he's number 1. Says BTN does not give me hope, and I tend to agree with that quick statement. My pal Karen Grulock is here. Karen and I got to meet each other for the first time ever in person after years of being virtual pals. That was nice, Karen. Good to see you here. Says, what a great surprise. Good evening. Same to you, Karen. John Hawks says, howdy. Greg McManus, my buddy, is here, tuning in from Lincoln. How are you, Greg? John Hawks, he's the number 2 king, says, they also said we have to get bigger on both lines. Yeah, I heard that, and I thought that was really odd because I think Purdue is going to be, I think size isn't a problem. And I think that, I think they said some things that I disagreed with flat out. One thing I keep waiting for, I might be the only true optimist about this defensive backfield, but man, I love this defensive backfield. I love the personnel that are back there. I like the guys that are leading the way back there. I hope I'm right because I've been talking about it for a month and a half. If you go on here, you've been hearing me say it. Greg Minnis says, BTN also said Hazel was a guy and they were improving under him for the fall camp segments when he was there. So there you go. Even go further in the Wayback Machine, you can see BTN was wrong again in their camp report. Max Goss says, checking in from Columbia City, Indiana. How are you, Max? Good to see you. Marshall Briggs says, I don't remember how did BTN react to Coach Google Me when he got there. When we see how their season ended up, schedule aside. That's a really good question. And I don't watch all these camp shows. I don't know if you'll learn much from them, but everybody is starved to see their favorite team. So if you're that much of a glutton that you even watch IU, good for you. But I bet there's somebody on here that did. I just bet there is somebody, at least in the comments, that'll say something about that. But that's a very good. It's interesting to me. There's some positions, some professions, pardon me, that there's not much accountability, and it feels to me like when you deal with these preseason things, it's almost impossible to be right the majority of the time. It's surely impossible to be right all of the time. And what they're doing, they're just seeing snapshots, right? Many of these teams are showing you what they want to see. I can't say that's the case for Purdue, but you can say that if you're just trying to get guys reps and you're trying to figure out like certain situations, what certain guys will do in those situations, you can really make a team not look like what they actually are. So that's a good question about the IU thing going back 1. And yeah, very, very good. Max Goss says, 2 weekends from this weekend, Dowd, going to be a great day. Rumor has it there may be a reunion happening. Let's see. I don't think we have that happening. If that's happening, this is news to me, Max. Yeah, so I don't know if I don't think there's anything Boiled Sports related, if that's what you're talking about coming. Not on that weekend anyway, I don't think. But you and I definitely have to get together. Have to see each other in the concourse. Let's see. Quinn says, I'm hoping for a good season. Just need a few wins for the love of everything holy or unholy. You're going to get a couple. We're going to get a couple wins. There's no doubt about it in my mind. The question is, can they get a couple more, right? I think they get to 4 wins. I've been saying that the whole time. Nothing that I've seen or heard has shaken my confidence in getting 4 big wins. And how bad are things when an optimist is saying 4 wins? And when the Purdue Brain Trust, the Boiled Sports Brain Trust says, what, the average was what, 4.6? I can't remember, 4.7, something like that, wins among the group of diehards. Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. The good news, I think Odom does not want to stay in the portal forever. I don't think he wants that to be the backbone of the team, but he absolutely had to do it. I was talking to another Purdue fan about this, the fact that you've got 50 players coming out of the portal to jump into the Golden Black and try to make a little run here. That's tough. I don't care I don't care how sugar-coated you're trying to be here. That's a tough situation. That's what I've been saying. This is a lot to ask for this many guys to come in together and gel. The good news is there are guys on this team that are littered throughout the field that I think are really instant impact players and sound like they have their heads screwed on very straight and they understand what they're getting into. John Hawk says, sounds like back end of our defense is going to be good. Yeah, I agree. My opinion is that, and I think there's no reason not to believe that. The corners and safeties look good. Greg Meta says, there is media momentum that has been circling since spring, and it's been going like a snowball downhill. There's media momentum. Around what, Greg? I don't understand that. So I think half the time it's really odd that you that was a completely coherent thought, and I don't understand it, and I blame me, as you know. Max says he's talking about somebody else talking to Greg. Let's see. Conversation back and forth. Quinn says 4 wins would be amazing. I'll be at the SIUC game with my brothers. One SIU alum, SIUC. Southern Illinois. I don't know what the C is. With his brothers, and the last thing I need is for him to have anything to hold over me. You're not going to have anything there. That's the thing. Like when you look at, I can't remember. I just saw someone put Purdue in a ranking for all the D1 teams, and they had Purdue at like 99. And you look at who's behind Purdue, and I didn't notice anybody from a Power 5 school behind Purdue. You probably saw the same thing. It was on Twitter. I cannot remember who posted it. It really doesn't matter at all. But those type of things, I always like to watch those because you're like, okay, there's no pressure on this team. Everything is gravy, right? Because I think people are like, okay, Purdue was absolutely decimated in the offseason. They've got a lot of work to do, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to get better. I just think Odom's systems are going to, I think they're going to play really well in this whole thing. Odom keeps saying the same thing. You've heard this to the media. He said this to the media, that the guys that stuck around and this program, the people that stayed, really needed and wanted and craved discipline. I think there's a truth to that on any team, right? When things are just kind of, nobody has structure, it doesn't help anybody. And I'm sure the guys who have stuck around are definitely feel the difference here. Greg McManus says, there's no new takes or opinions, just everyone saying the same things. Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're referencing a second ago. No, there's no new takes. There's no new opinions. There's really not much new information out there. And this is the hardest thing about, like, when a little behind the curtain thing, since last year, I vowed I was going to post every week, talk a little bit about something. And weeks like this are actually really, really hard because I'm scouring, trying to figure things out. I'm watching interviews, seeing what the guys who are actually there have to say. My perspective's a lot different than theirs. I don't have anything that I owe to anybody, obviously, because I'm not trying to get a media credential right now or anything like that. And so I can talk freely about what I think and what I'm seeing. The problem is we're not seeing very much, and good coaching staffs are going to do what Odom and company are doing right now, which is we're going to keep it all pretty close to the vest. We're going to let you see what we want to see. But I wouldn't say anything's glowing by any means. I mean, there's just not a lot out there that says it's things are roses and lollipops, because they're not. It's a rebuild. Max, who's the number 2 king, says we're going to go no worse. Oh boy. Okay. This is breaking. Max says we're going to go no worse than 9-3 or 8-4 this season. Take it to the bank, and then we're going to go back to a Florida Bowl game. You are absolutely the only person I've heard say that. So, and I know you were confident. I think you said that last time we were on. That is huge talk. That's massive talk, and I love optimism. I'm never going to tell someone not to be optimistic, but at the same time, I would say, I'll have what you're having right now, but I'd love to see it. I hope you're right. It will be my favorite thing in sports is when I'm positively surprised, and I would be incredibly surprised. I can remember how surprised I was how Purdue played that Ohio game when Braum was there, and I knew what Braum offenses had looked like at Western Kentucky. But the fun of that offense, the trick plays, it was such a great night to watch football. It wasn't surprising that Purdue beat Ohio. It was surprising that they beat Ohio the way they did, because if you remember back, that was an Ohio Solich coached Ohio team, pretty good football team, a bowl team about every other year, and Brahms boys made them look pretty silly. So excellent optimism, though. Quinn says Southern Illinois University Carbondale versus SIEU Edwardsville. Gotcha. And do they put the C on there? I really don't know. I just had it as Southern Illinois. And they are the Salukis, is that right? I'm usually pretty good at that, but I'm not positive right now. I don't feel very confident. I never feel very confident when I speak in a live stream, truth be told. John Hawks says, number one King says, I just want to see us play hard and tough, and they will. It's right on the big on the Jumbotron. Was it hard? I don't want to say it wrong because I can get eaten up by that. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to try. Strong, tough, something. I don't know. Quinn says, I was at the Purdue versus Ohio State game, storming that field. Amazing game. Was sick as hell the next day. So that was the, I don't know which Ohio State game, but you're probably talking about 2018. Is that right? I would think that'd be 2018. Yeah, that was great. Great atmosphere being on the field. And I don't know if there's ever a bad storming the field that I've been a part of. And if you go back, to Purdue storming the field versus Ohio State back when Tiller was there. That was also very, very fun. It was cold. That season, that's one thing I remember about the Rose Bowl year is it felt like every game was freezing. Ohio State, Michigan, IU, I think Purdue, I think we stormed the field after all those games. And I remember it being freezing every game, but it was fun, but freezing. Max says, I just think there's more to this team that's being hidden from us, and we're going to shock a lot of the nation this year. Give me Boca Raton Bowl this season. At 8-4, I think they'd be better than the Boca Raton Bowl, but I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know how, but I think they'd be better than the Boca Raton Bowl. And I don't even know if there's a Big Ten tie-in with that bowl, to tell you the truth. So, but they would be in a nice climate regardless. Who knows? Maybe we'd be in Music City Bowl again. I don't know how often they can do that, but it's been a couple years. So Marshall Briggs said, but 8-4, man, that'd be incredible. Marshall Briggs says, have a good evening, Dowd. Going to play college football 26, where I'm about to take our Boilers to their second natty in CFP. Video games are good for something. Yeah, right on. And yeah, I don't really play them anymore. My son plays them a little bit. My son now back at Purdue. He's getting ready for Boiler Gold Rush. My nephew has successfully, my nephew and son have been successfully moved into their dorm room. Pretty exciting time. Their room situation is so much better than last year. I know you guys heard me. I got after Purdue publicly because they botched that so badly last year when they had an extra room rate thrown in, weeks before classes started. And this year, everything's smooth, and what a difference a year makes. Their room is quite a situation. Everything's doing well. And we didn't even have to help them move in. A year different. And he's all grown up. LBD's all grown up. Jarvizda says, basketball season can't get here fast enough. Yeah, and you're not the only one banging that drum. But I will say I am so excited for football. So excited. How excited am I? I bought additional tickets. They are dirt cheap, in case you're wondering, on Vivid Seats and other brokers. You can get tickets for those first couple games for like $6, including fees. And yeah, I jumped on that and got some extras for my family. I have season tickets, but my whole family, the ladies in my life do not really want to be there per se, but still going to be at some games. So that's good. Greg McManus says, I'm still at 5-7, more discipline, more energy. They steal two. They aren't supposed to win. I think that's a very, very good and fair perspective. And you and I have talked about this. They're gonna, as bad as they were last year, remember they almost won a couple games that they didn't belong winning because that team was that bad. So was it Northwestern and Illinois, right? Those two games, if I'm remembering correctly, where the Illinois game, that was ridiculous. But the Northwestern game also, they were both right there. And that team was absolutely unprepared most Saturdays. So Max says, if we get to the Music City Bowl this season, would you commit to going, or is it still too early to tell? Very early to tell. I don't commit to anything too far out, but I actually have a client in Tennessee right now. So I've been going back and forth to Nashville. So if they go to the Music City Bowl, sure, I'll go. I'll say it right now. I'll commit to that. Sure, why not? May I back out of that? Sure, I might. But right now, I'm committed to going to see Purdue play. Who are we going to say? Purdue playing LSU at the Music City Bowl. How about that? There it is. There's my take it to the bank. That's not really what I think is going to happen. Football does have tailgating. That's true, Jarvista. It is such a great, to me, there's nothing better than a football Saturday. There just isn't. And the whole game day experience is fantastic. And yeah, tailgating makes things better. But yeah, it's my favorite time of year. Fall in Indiana is beautiful too. So lots of things to savor and not to look forward to the winter right away. I'm not jumping into that yet. I'm just not. Yeah, Greg Manis reminds us that those were winnable games. They were winnable games. Jarvis says, also on the non-Purdue note, I don't believe that the Brewers will ever lose again. Wow, that's another. We've got hot takes all around. Brewers will never lose again. That's great. That's good to see. I'm not a huge Major League Baseball fan, but that's a hot take. Yeah, figure out the 30th. Max says we need to figure out tailgate on the 30th. I cannot do that. I cannot tell you what the pregame plans are ever. Like, I just do not have that set aside. But yes, we're going to figure something out, Max. We're going to figure something out. At minimum, we'll see it. We'll see it at Ross-Ade. So, yeah. So that's about it. That's great to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I would say this counts as a quick cast, even though I'm calling it a nightcap because of my beverage. 26 minutes, pretty tidy. If you're at the gym enjoying my voice, God bless you. And I hope it motivates you to be better as you think of how I'm just wasting away as I get older. But God bless you. Hammer down. Talk to you soon. Maybe there'll be something fun to talk about in the next 7 days. We'll see. See ya.